So what kind of day is it? Wow. Do. Wow. Man, I could see me waking up to that one every day, right? Walking. Do. Huh? Wait till number 3? All right. You do have.
Oh, yes. CDs. CDs and jewelry and great T-shirts.
CDs, jewelry, and T-shirts? Wow. You got more songs. Why don't you we'll just have song sermon today. I'll just put this down. Right? Where is here after all? Where is here? The search. Oh, the search, right? Right. Well, it's right here. It's right here, right now. That's where it is. But the search, this book, as soon as I started reading it, I was like, I love this book. I just read it 3 times. I put it on audio, and then she does the audio, and she's got this lovely southern drawl. There's just something about hearing that voice. It's just so lovely. And so I really enjoyed this whole process. And as I was hearing her talk about, open the story up with, and you've heard it, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Right? I mean, our whole movement took that on so much so that we changed our name from Religious Science to Centers for Spiritual Living, because we figured everybody's looking for spirituality. And the journey for spirituality is like this journey for, well, you know what it is. I mean, I want more meaning to my life. I want a deeper understanding. I want more feeling, a deeper connection to this thing called life. And that deeper connection is spirituality. It's not religion. I'm running from religion. Religion is what started wars and killed people and stuff like that. But spirituality, no, it doesn't do that. So this book talks about that process, about that search for meaning, about that search for real life, for finding God. Dare I say, the path to God. And folks will do it. I mean, there's workshops, there's seminars, there's books, there's podcasts. You can find it all kinds of places. And it's kind of crazy. I was looking it up just trying to make sure I got my facts straight. And, you could go hear like Merriam-Williamson for an afternoon, and that's $300. Or you can go to one of these super retreats like on Kauai for 5 days for $5,000 and get some spirituality. Or you can come here, and for a crumpled up dollar, you can get some spirituality. There's a minister, I think it was Tom Costa, who talked about he says, you know what? If you got to take your dollar and hold it the whole service and crumple it up so the time you put it in the collection plate, it's all sweaty and crumpled up, keep it. If that's your prosperity, hold on to it that tight, keep it. Give me your nice, fresh, crisp $20 or $50 or $100 bill. And you notice, people that got that, it's crisp, it's flat, but the 20 to 5, it's crumpled up, This journey for spirituality, though, it's so interesting that people go all this looking and all the reading that we do, but when you go to a restaurant, do you just look at the menu and go, that was good, and go home? No. You order the food. You eat the food, because that's where it's all at, right? And so this journey for spirituality, it's not about the workshops, the seminars, the books. It's not even about coming here to find out what socks I'm wearing today. It's not about that. It's about eating the food. It's about doing the work. And we come into life with a body. And what do we do with that body? Just read about it? No. We put it into action, and we live a spiritual life. I'll show you if you come to the line. And you live this beautiful life. And in it, she talks about this search, this where is here search. And I love this. I love this right here. The reason so many of us cannot see the red X that marks the spot is because we're standing on it. We're standing on it. And we don't even understand that the place upon where we stand is holy ground. It is holy ground. It's not a journey out there, and it's not just about faith. It's about the works. They said it, James 2:20. Faith without works is dead. Life without living is dead. Menu without food is yucky. We got to do the work, see, and that's what this is all about. It's like And knowing where here is, I mean, I'm thinking about, you know the parable of the Mexican fisherman? Is that a great story? The Mexican fisherman, he's fishing, and there's this Harvard MBA kicking it on his vacation. And he sees the fisherman come ashore with these 4 beautiful, beautiful tuna that he's caught. And he says to the fisherman, he says, wow, you're in early for your catch. Well, I got enough. I'm going to go sing and hang with my amigos and go see my family and cook these food. He says, wow, with that quality of fish that you just caught there, if you stayed out a little bit longer, you know, you could increase your catch. You could make more money. In fact, before long, if you fish like that, you could buy a couple of boats. And before long, you could actually start selling wholesale to the canner. In fact, you could even open your own cannery. And then, you know, with my help, I'm an Harvard MBA. With my help, I could help you, like we could do an IPO, and then you could sell your business for millions of dollars. And then the Mexican fisherman says, and then what? Then you could retire, you could kick back on the beach, you could like hang out with your family and play music with your friends. Well, that's what I'm going to go do. Where is here? The X is on the spot where we are standing, and we're so busy chasing, and one day, if and when I do that, I'll get this. When this is right here in front of us already. And that's what this journey is all about, right? But before we take off, what's that? Before we take off on our journey to find out where the X is, which we know is right underneath us, we need to get grounded. See, Thich Nhat Hanh says, the real miracle is not to walk on water. The real miracle is to walk on the earth, to really be present to where you are, to be practicing the presence. And Dr. Holmes agrees with this. He says I think it's in the Holmes, Live in the Science of Mind. He says, the function of the body is not something apart from God, but it is something within God. See, the movement, the activity of life itself, it's not apart from us, it is within us. We are the experience of God having this thing called life. And so what are we supposed to do with it? We're supposed to do what he says in treatment. Treat and then move our feet to get into the business of noticing where you are. And when you do notice where you are, it's just like when Moses saw the burning bush. And it's really interesting, the take that she takes on this. We'll explore that more in the book study. He says, Moses didn't actually see the bush. He glanced, and then he had to turn. It's kind of like meteor showers. You look at the meteor, oh, it's over there, it's over there. He glanced and he turned. See, we have to turn into our experience of life. And when we turn into that experience, it was only when he made the turn toward the burning bush that God spoke to him and said, take off your shoes, for where you are standing is holy ground. It was only after he made the turn. It's only after we make the beginning of the journey that we get the message of what it is that we're supposed to do. St. Augustine, he summed it up so well. He says, I'm sorry for those who speak Latin. Silvatori ambulando. Silvatori ambulando. The solution is in the walking. It is solved by walking. We need to take a walk with life, to get busy with it. And it's important to do. I've told you the story about the kid who wanted to learn how to, wanted to drive his dad's car, and he said, you got to earn the money for your car insurance. So I think you'll remember it because I'm going to tell it again. So the dad says, okay, so you want to drive the car. Great. You got to earn some money for your insurance. But before you can even do that, you're going to have to get a job. But before you even do that, I want you to get your grades up. I want you to study. And one of the things I want you to study is I want you to study the Bible. And then after you've done all of that, I want you to get your hair cut. And once you get your hair cut, study the Bible, get your grades up, then you can get the insurance, you can drive the car. End of the summer, kid comes up. Dad, I've done it. Grades are up. I studied the Bible. I'm doing good. I got a job. I've raised the money. He says, but you didn't cut your hair. Well, Dad, Moses had long hair. Samson had long hair. David had long hair. Jesus had long hair. And Dad says, and they walked everywhere they went. It is solved by walking. Silvatori ambulando. It is solved by walking. Barbara Brown Taylor sums it up really well. She says, touching the truth with our minds alone is not enough. Reading the menu is not enough. We are made to touch it with our bodies. See, the experience of having a body is so important. You know, it's so important. It's not separate. It is us. It's a part of us. And this experience of living fully with our body in the experience of life, it's so wonderful. It's what brings meaning to the search. You know, this vehicle is how we get the meaning behind the search, by going out and doing and experiencing the various things in life. And for many of us, even for our younger folks that are here, because if you're under 40 and you're in this room, congratulations, because you're already in that place where many of us are now, where we've reached the point in consciousness, not in age, but in consciousness, where we are into the second half of life. See, the first half of life is all concerned about how do I get the house, how to raise the kids, how to do the thinking, grab. And then there's this point in your life where you go, I've grabbed enough. I think there's something more. See, so we're in that second tier of life journey. And in that second tier of life journey, we need to go out and have an experience. And part of the experience is getting lost. Getting lost. Not being so sure of where you are. Seeking the wilderness. See, we're not cows. She's Barbara Brown Taylor. No, this makes sense. Now hold on, because I know you're not cows, but but what she talks about, and I never thought about this. See, the cows, they walk this path, and they do a well-worn path, you see. They know exactly where they need to go. They don't even need to look down anymore. They just follow the path. And the path is very efficient. It's the easiest way to get from here to there, and if it's not the shortest way from here to there, it goes past the water on the way there, or it goes under the shade on the way there. Cows are very smart like that, and we're very smart like that. We travel our well-worn paths over time because we know the language, and we don't need any maps to get there. We know how to get there. It's like the lady with the GPS. She knows how to get to the grocery store at night, but because she selected the honey-coated male voice, she will frequently put the GPS on to go to the grocery store at night just so she could have him talk to her, to hear that turn left at the next corner. But we know where we're going so often in life. But the joy in life is to seek the wilderness, because see, God loves novelty. God loves uniqueness. And as we seek the wilderness, as we go off the trail and get off the cow path and look for something that we've never seen before, we go free of impediments and we begin to go with grace. Brother David Randlstadt defines grace as life without impediment. Life without impediment. And if we can travel freely, we'll be like William Least Heat Moon in that book, Blue Highways. We become what the French call a flaneur. A flaneur, great term, I love this, a flaneur. A flaneur is the kind of person who wakes up in the morning and goes out to get the paper. What's that smell? I smell Danish, and he starts walking. Oh, fresh cherry Danish, I have one. And he eats cherry Danish. And he's walking, and he dribbles some on his shirt. Oh my goodness, oh, what's that noise? Oh, it's a fountain. I'll walk to the fountain. I'll clean off my shirt. You know, that's a flaneur. He just travels through life and just discovers what he discovers. This is how we have an opportunity to live life in a whole different way, in a whole wonderful, gracious way, where we can get lost. Just travel the broken road. She says in the book, God does some of God's best work with people who are truly, seriously lost. Think about that for a minute. Think about God's work and God's story, which is the Bible, and some of the people that have gotten lost. Those are the ones we talk about. Sarah and Abraham, they were having a great life living in Ur, right? God said, hey, I will deliver you to a land of milk and honey. Get lost. Go walking. Go find it, you know. Moses, not only lost, but raised by people that didn't even look like him, raised by the Egyptians, only to be led in another journey to get lost again with the Israelites in the desert. And then there's Jesus. We talk about Jesus, who spent 40 days in the desert, lost with temptations coming to him. This idea of getting lost, it's where some serious work takes place. Lost is where we get vulnerable, where we have an opportunity to experience God like we've never experienced it before. I got lost one time going through East Texas, and I got a flat tire on a back road on the road to Gonzales. It's not the kind of road that a young black man wants to have a flat tire on at night around 6:30, right? Especially in Texas. especially when his girlfriend's blonde and blue-eyed. That's not something you want to really experience, right? You feel very vulnerable. Life gets like, ooh, what's that all about? And I couldn't get the tire off the car. It was like stuck. It was frozen on there. And then all of a sudden, here comes this pickup truck, and it's against the setting sun, so I can't really see anything except the silhouette of Bubba in the car seat. With those shotguns on the rack behind him. Oh my God, this is it! And he comes and he gets out of the car and he goes, "What do we have here?" "I got a flat, I can't get the tire." He goes, "Hold on, little buddy, it's no problem." And it's like as if he had one of those vroom guns in his wrist, you know? He just went zoom, zoom, took the tire off, threw it in the back of the car, threw me in the back of the truck, threw my girlfriend in the back of the truck, drove us into this town, banged on the door. "Hey, guy, fix the tire." Took me back to the road, put my car back on. Humanity. But I had to be lost and vulnerable and afraid to understand that people have heart no matter where they are, no matter what I might think, even if they have shotguns on the back of the car. You know? After I left TV, it was hard. It was a hard journey. So I did a drive about, because I'm an American. And I'm driving like I just read that book, Blue Highways, William Heat Least Moon. He's Least Heat Moon because his brother was named William Heat Moon. He was born first. He's an Indian and Native American, indigenous person. Yeah. Feather, not dot. Isn't that interesting? And so he was the last born, so his father named him Least. How's that for having to grow up and figure out what your worth is all about? To be named Least. So he writes this great book that becomes the #1 seller. How about that? Heat Moon. Least did that, right? So I decided I would follow what he did. So, and the idea of Blue Highways, the name of the book, is that the back roads on the map are blue. They're the skinny little roads, right? The little 2-lane roads. So I just did the Blue Highway travel trip, and I'm traveling along, and I was traveling through New Mexico, and I just got off this exit, and I'm driving along, and I said, "Swimming hole." Oh, I love swimming holes because in Texas we love swimming holes. And so I drive off, and there it is. It's the Blue Hole outside of Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Anybody ever seen it? There's a couple of you have, right? It's like this super deep trench that's a spring-fed trench. Divers from all over the world come to dive in this place because it's like one of the deepest natural springs in not America, in the world. And I never would have found this place. And I love swimming holes, so it was like ideal. And then on the way back through Texas, through the West Texas, dry West Texas, I did the same thing, except this time I was following cottonwood trees because I just read this story about how the president, I think it was William McKinley, gave the Russians a bunch of cottonwood trees. And it was one of those kind of gifts because the cottonwood trees drop all this stuff. So every year, these trees, they just took off in that climate there in Russia. And every year they have this snow of the cottonwood stuff dropping off of them, which is like a terrible thing. They don't like it. But anyway, that's a sidebar. Back to the story. Back to the regularly scheduled programming. So I pull off on this highway, and there it is. Ooh, swimming hole. And I pull off, and this is to the Balmorea Pool. It's the largest spring-fed swimming pool in the world. Beautiful. Check it out later. Go Google it. Balmorea Pool. It's really lovely. And so this getting lost teaches you about humanity, teaches about things that you love about life, but it begins with traveling somewhere that you haven't been before. Barbara Brown Taylor, again, her wisdom, she says, if someone asked us to pinpoint the times in our lives that changed us for the better, a lot of those times would be wilderness times. Wilderness times. There would be times when we were lost and then we were found. My friends, here's your disclaimer. Start small. Start with small wilderness treks because the big lessons come without any warning, but if we can start small, we can practice this behavior, we can practice this experience, we can practice this journey so that when the big stuff, when the fit hits the sham, you know what I'm saying? Then we're ready because we've done a little bit of sidetracking on some of the small journeys of wilderness lostness that we can do, and then that leads us to the better place. Because see, the real deal is that wherever we are, wherever you are, wherever we are, we're human. That's the bottom line, right? And wherever we are, whatever we're doing, we're in the world. We're in the world. So the world is waiting for you, for you, for you. It's waiting for you, Marion. It's waiting to be noticed. And it gets noticed best when we're off the trail, when we're just meandering along, when we've unplugged. Johanna and I go walking every morning, and for the last year, I've been walking with one earbud in my ear, just kind of like listening to what I call power walking music, because she walks so darn fast. If I didn't listen to the power walking music, and I tested it, I listened to some like new age music, and I was like behind. So I put the power music on, and I'm walking up with her. But now I'm kind of in step, so I've stopped listening to the music, and oh my God, our neighborhood has hawks, and our neighborhood has owls, and our neighborhood has like the most curious squirrels, and the trees bend, and they make this noise in the morning that you would not even know being plugged in. Even something like that is a way of staying on the cow path. But unplugging is a way of getting lost. Something as simple as just pulling out an earplug. You know, and the journey is that we mark that spot. We mark that X spot. And as we begin to notice things, a light dawns. And Dr. Holmes calls this a very special light. He says, this is the light that is spoken of that lighteth every man's path, every woman's path, every person's path. And as you believe that you live, believe that you are that light. You are that light. You are the light that is lighting the holy ground upon which you stand. So with a little trust and some faith, working this process, you will be discovered that you don't need to search anywhere. It's where is here. It's right here where you are. Last piece of Barbara Brown Taylor wisdom for this week. Others before you have found a way in the wilderness where there are as many angels as there are wild beasts, and plenty of other lost people too. So you won't be alone on your journey. You may see a beast or two, but it's more likely you'll discover one of the sweet angels who will help guide you on your path to discovering that where is here. And so it is. So, feel it. Just read it to yourself for a minute. And now let's do it together. Not only is the place where I stand holy ground, I know it and I live like it. There it is. Let's do some praying. I feel like praying this morning. We're going to all pray together because that's how we do it in community. We understand that the power of the divine presence is actually speaking to us in each and every moment and always asking. I want to remind you that our practitioners pray over these prayer requests of yours all throughout the week. If anything's coming up for you at any particular time, please fill out one of these. If you don't have time to get over here to the center, why not? No, if you don't have time to get over here to the center, send the email in, and we'll write it up, and we'll put it in the prayer box, and we'll distribute it to our practitioners. They love to pray and know the truth for you when you have forgotten it for yourself. When you have forgotten to remember, they remember to remember. So that's how you get that going. Now, at this moment, we're going to pray aloud together. I'll be the voice for everybody after everybody puts their prayer request into the room. So if there's someone that you want to pray for, including yourself, and if the prayer is simply one of gratitude, you can do that because that's Meister Eckhart's favorite prayer. If the only prayer you ever say is thank you, you have prayed enough. So at this moment, I ask you to share that spiritual truth that needs to be known in the universe today. In the spirit of William Least Heat Moon, and the spirit of Ernest Holmes, it says God is by whatever name you know it as. We call forth the great spirit today, the great Father, the divine Mother, and know that that is the presence of Spirit expressing in its numerous ways in the world today. And it is individualized in each and every one of us, not diminished by its multiplicity, by its diversity, by the many. It is still the one. And in this understanding of the one, there is a spirit of love and givingness, and that givingness operates as a law unto itself. So that the word that we speak becomes the demonstration of our lives. By demonstration, I mean it becomes the reality of our life. By reality, I mean it becomes the activity of our lives. By the activity, I mean it becomes the things we do, say, experience, and feel, and know. So in this moment, I'm knowing for each and every person in this room that the word has been spoken, does not return unto you void, that it has been heard by the divine, and it's being acted on by the law, and it is being motivated by love, and it's being formed by an infinite substance that has infinite supply to provide through its infinite knowledge the exact right outcome for whatever it is that it's ailing the situation at hand. It's not even ailing. What it is it's providing an opportunity for God to be more fully expressed in the world today. So whatever the challenge might be, there is a spiritual truth behind that challenge. There is an opportunity for the love and the law of Spirit to be made manifest by means of that activity. And so we are grateful for whatever is flowing in our lives, for we know that whatever it is an opportunity for God to show itself that much more, for more glory to be expressed, for more happiness to be expressed, for more harmony to be felt, for more peace to be realized. This is the operation of Spirit. This is the way the law works, and this stuff really works because we know it, we believe it, and we use it. And I'm so grateful for that truth. I'm grateful for that knowledge. I'm grateful to all the ancient speakers of all time who have brought us to this point where we can coalesce all this information into an activity in our lives that brings about that perfection, that satisfaction. So I release this prayer with a great amount of joy into that perfect process that says, it is done as we believe. And so it is.
So it is.
Okay.